Welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, a platform where we have invited Spirit to share messages, healings, and transmissions with all of us. May this energetic experience help us to expand our awareness and to deepen the relationship we have with our higher self, our spiritual team, and with Source, however we define them. Thank you for being here and for taking part in this amazing journey. Welcome back to Season 4 of the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit. We are entering Episode 2 with Fiona Paul. And Fiona has been with us in the past, and so it's lovely to have her back with us again. Honor, as always, to be in your presence, Fiona. I cannot wait to see how this conversation unfolds. I mean, we were just having a conversation before the recording started about my poinsettia behind me that is next to a window that has more light than where it was before because it's struggling to stay alive. And so I'm hoping to give it some more light so that it can kind of come back to life a little bit. And so Fiona said,
ta-da! Funnily enough, you're talking about light and intuitively knowing that it needs the light. And since Christmas, the Faery Realm, the Fae, have been coming in incredibly strongly. And they were saying just then, let us at it, because they radiate their light, literally radiate their light into the plants, into the atmosphere that you're in. If you want harmonization into your room, they showed me, I was actually on an interview earlier today, and one of the main fairies that's coming through, her name is Tulle, Tulle, and which she showed me is a shortened version for Tallulah. And she showed me her working with the filaments, if you like, is the only way that I can kind of accurately describe in our limited human language how the fairy realm work with these energy filaments. Once a human being, let's say, walks through a room, or let's take it as a wooded area or a forest, and these days quite a lot of people still have their mobile phones on, or they might even have earphones, maybe not connecting to their surroundings and to their heart. They're actually leaving a trail of discordant energy. And what the Fae showed me, in conjunction with the trees and the plants, and particularly the birds, is how they reharmonize the frequencies that we have unconsciously, if you wish to use that terminology, walked through, unaware of how we affect the energy wherever we go. And I don't know about yourself and other people that you speak to, but I find it now particularly difficult to go into our calendar or our time. I thought I had plenty of time, and then oh my gosh, I haven't. I can't like access my diary. I have to physically. But anyway, whenever they started to come through, I was talking and channeling the Angelic Realm, which I have been doing, as you know, for a couple of years now. And the Angelic Realm work with the Fae in such a beautiful, sublime way. And they're talking to me, and then they just allowed the Fae to like smooth in underneath and then take over the conversation as easily and effortlessly as like the smoothest, creamiest harmonic it was and I was really surprised that I was seeing this different energy, but it was melding into the angelic realm, so dovetailing. But I could also see the moss and smell the soil and feel the crystals and the frequency of the crystals and the sparklingness as it's coming up and twirling around my legs. And hey presto, this is the Fae introducing themselves to me. Oh, it's just like, hallelujah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And so before we continue on with this conversation, I would love to have you introduce yourself to people.
Oh, sure. You mean people don't already know? They're going, oh, they soon will. They're very, very cheeky. And when you do allow yourself to come into the world of the Fae, you will feel yourselves really start to like have smiley faces and G up, and you will honestly smile so much more. And you're like, why am I smiling? Oh, I can feel them. And they're a bit cheeky as well, but they'll pull my hair. Sometimes they'll be having a little argument as who's going to be talking, and it's really quite comical. But yes, I'm Fiona Paul, and I'm full of fairy energy tonight. As you can see, it's the evening here in the UK. And I started to channel coming up for 2.5, 3 years ago, when I went to South Africa under the call of a bull elephant who had been coming to me in spirit and insisting that I go to South Africa. He came so frequently that I knew I had to get there, and I knew I had to get there before the end of November 2019. So I was getting all this information coming through. I was also seeing this bull elephant, and he was bringing out his ears, and then I was getting downloaded with information. And this was a whole new way of me interpreting information different from our normal 3D senses. Anyway, as it turned out, what happened, in 2020. So it was good that I got there in November 2019. I had a out-of-body experience with a real live bull elephant that was recorded on video. And then a few moments later, we came across a pride of lions, and I had the same similar out-of-body multi-dimensional experience with this lion. And the following day, I was flying back to the UK, and I had the lion behind me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sat on an aeroplane. Does everybody know that I'm bringing home a lion? I've got a lion in there. Unfortunately, a friend that I knew at the time was a channel, and I told him about what was happening, and he talked me through how to allow myself and my cells to relax enough to allow the energy of this lion to actually flood into my body. And it was such a beautiful, serene, calming, natural way, because his love was so gentle and so pure. My body recognized it. And then a poem came out of my mouth. Poetry came out of my mouth. It was sublime, absolutely sublime. And then on my seeking, not that I was seeking to become a channel or anything like that, but this beautiful divine being called Sarah Landon came across my path, and she channels the council, who are ascended masters. And Yeshua, or Jesus, he had come to me 20 years earlier, and I hadn't really told very many people about it. And he's one of the ascended masters. And that was a truly divine experience. And at the same time of Yeshua coming, I also had Archangel Michael, and I didn't know there was an angel called Archangel Michael at that time. And this beautiful being appeared in my room and took me on a very profound journey. And then everything kind of went a bit quiet, and I worked in the corporate world, and then I studied as an animal behaviorist. So I think my yearning to study and be an animal behaviorist, which I was for 16 years, was the lead in to me to bring through the lion consciousness, because animals were so familiar to me, and the animals had opened me up to the level of love that is unconditional. So my body had acclimated to those frequencies. So then I could hold the frequency of the lion consciousness and suddenly become a poet. And then meeting Sarah and listening to the council and their words of encouragement allowed myself to believe and trust in what was coming through. And now, well, basically anything, anything and everything. The interview I was just having with somebody, I was bringing through the trees. It is everything at the moment is bringing us back to our true selves and the nature kingdom that's held within us.
That's beautiful. So I don't want to get too far away from the fairies, given that they're pulling your hair and being cheeky around you. Before we get into kind of talking about the messages that the fairies want to share with us, I would love to have you talk a little bit more about the angelic realm and your experience with that. But before we do that, sorry, can you also talk about, how do I put this? I, unlike you, have not been shown my gifts by these amazing energies. I have been learning in what I refer to as a slow progress. And we all come into this in different ways, and there isn't one way that's better or right or wrong versus another. And there's no judgment here on me or on anyone else that might be listening, but we all come into things differently. And so I would love for you to kind of talk about how this was for you, your experience of kind of connecting with these amazing energies and recognizing that that was something that was already within you.
Well, my first, what I would say, real experience was with Archangel Michael 19 years ago. And it really was out of the blue. I was in my bedroom and I was very upset because my father had transitioned and I was believing that I would never have his love. I had quite a traumatic childhood. And this tall, 10-foot tall being in a white 3-piece suit, just like John Travolta, was stood there, and all time and space, all oxygen, all atmosphere had disappeared. And it felt really familiar. Yet I had no reference point that I was aware of other than I did not have an ounce of fear in my body. I felt love. I felt love of myself, and I felt love to this being. He was in a white 3-piece suit, but he didn't have any wings. But I had a knowing, absolute knowing. I didn't even question it. I knew he was an angel. And we started to talk telepathically. And when I didn't know about telepathic communication then. And it was so natural. And when I said to him, "Oh, hello," as if it was, an everyday occurrence, a 10-foot angel appears in a white three-piece suit in your bedroom. Oh, hello, telepathically. And who are you? And he said, "My name's Michael." And then I went into myself and I thought, oh, he's just being kind, because aren't angels called Gabriel or something like that? And I wasn't well read with the Bible, so I didn't know other angelic names. And I just thought, well, he's just being kind. He doesn't want to frighten me. I've got an uncle called Michael. He's just being very kind. Unbeknownst to me, that of course he could hear everything that I was saying, and I'm surprised he didn't, giggle really. But anyway, he took my hand and he took me on a journey. And the journey I didn't understand at the time, but now I have much more clarity on that. And the journey took me to the home that I was brought up in, and we stood in the archway of the garden. And my father, who had, the reason I was upset was because he'd already transitioned. Well, he was walking up the garden path around the age of about 35. And obviously I didn't really know him at that age. I was stood there in my late 30s, early 40s, something like that. Michael is stood here to my side. So my father's walking up. I am 4 years old holding my father's hand. And as the 4-year-old, my consciousness went into the 4-year-old. And as the 4-year-old, I looked at me as my 40-year-old self and Archangel Michael. So I knew, and I still know, that that actually happened. And that gave me the knowing that there is no time. Because I was 4, looking at my 4-year-old self, looking at my father, but my father had transitioned at the age of 74, and here he is 35, as the age of 35. It was very, very profound. And I was so shocked by the scene that my throat chakra, I didn't know about chakras, tightened. I started to cough. Michael, feeling my anxiety, goes to nudge me, but he nudges me with such a force, which to him was very light, but I nearly fall over. So my dad comes running up the path with me in tow. And I'm having this flash, am I her? Am I this? Am I this? And then he comes out with this very strong Scottish accent. And my father was Scottish, but I had never heard his accent. I'd never heard it until I was actually there hearing him speaking to me. And Michael was saying, don't worry, he won't recognize you. And I'm thinking, how can he not recognize me? I'm his daughter. But of course, he's not expecting me to be 40-year-old. It was so real that I remember now to this day, nearly 20 years on, every single aspect of that. But I cannot tell you why that happened, other than it has brought me here today to tell you this story, and for anyone else who is listening, because everything has an energy, has a frequency, has something in it that is going to awaken or activate somebody. So there's a reason for me telling you this story. And
What
then,
I'm sorry to interrupt. What I'm kind of picking up on is that there's people listening to this that have had similar experiences, but either were afraid to recognize it as true or as a validity, or to lean into the aspect of that, to question it and to doubt it. And this story is helping them to see the truth of their experience and to honor their experience as real.
yeah. Well, hopefully, yes, it will enable people to realize that these events are real. And I can't really remember any events in this reality in so much detail and with such intensity, and definitely not from 20 years ago.
And on the subject of doubt, Sally's asking if you initially doubted your experience. What was your experience of that?
I didn't initially, because when I came back, I suddenly became back into the awareness that I was back in my bedroom. Michael was no longer there. It was only about 18, it was something like 18 months later, I found out that there was an archangel called Michael. I was that naive. I didn't even know that that existed. So he was no longer there physically, but I could feel him in every particle in my room. And he said, always come from your heart, Fiona. And that is when I knew I actually had to give up the job that I was doing, that I knew my body was becoming sick with. So I gave up that corporate job. And that is actually when I started to study as an animal behaviorist. Because it was so real to me, I didn't doubt it, but I did start to forget about it. And it's not really until a couple of years ago, 2 to 3 years ago, when I started to channel and the angelic realm came through, and Yeshua, who had come approximately 3 weeks after Michael had come, that I really started to understand and feel the frequencies, and it all started to reawaken within me. So I never doubted it because it's all so real and so tangible, but I did start to forget that it had happened. Yes.
One of the things that I would love for you to talk about with regard to the angelic realm, as I've mentioned in other episodes throughout the seasons, I have a group of friends that I practice with on a relatively regular basis. And we've had many different angels come and introduce themselves to us, many of which I didn't even know existed. And like, I've got to look up their names and I've got to write them down so I don't forget. And
Me too.
I still forget them. Like, sorry, guys, I still forget their names and I still confuse them all with, because there's I would love for you to kind of talk about your experience now that you've been more conscious of working with the energies. What can you share with us little people that don't necessarily recognize that we are always surrounded and supported by the angelic realm? What can you share with us?
Well, what I'll firstly share is there is nothing little about you at all, Daniel. You're magnificent. And you are incredibly guided by your heart, which is why you are so inspired to put together these summits. It's within your heart, it's within your soul. And this is where the angelic realm will come through. But the more that I have been bringing through the frequencies of the celestial messengers is a word that they're liking to use now. And they're, to me, and for me, and what I bring through for my clients, is the reason they're wanting it to be more celestial is because they're wanting us to drop the labels. So the reason is when I talk about Archangel Michael, we literally take our consciousness and we put it over here to view Archangel Michael. Whereas the frequency, the essence, the divine nature of Michael is us. We are that. And so there is such a large percentage of us, which does vary. So I'm just asking, it does vary with each human being, but we are all celestial. We all have a large percentage of us that is celestial. And that is that word is quite a new word. Only over the last 6 months or so has that word come through, because what they're wanting is for us not to look outside of ourselves. Yes, communicate with them, but communicate with them on the same level. There is nothing small about you. You're truly, truly magnificent. And you do shine incredibly brightly, Daniel, particularly when you smile, I must say.
I appreciate that. Again, for those of you that are listening to this, she's not speaking of me individually, because when I talked about us little people, I am referring to all of us that feel like we are smaller than we really are. And I say it in those words on purpose, not because I feel that a lot of the times, but I know a lot of the listeners do. And so when she's speaking to me of what she sees in me, listen to her words, because she is referring to you as well, to all of those people that resonated with the words that I used.
Thank you for that. Mm.
So Shannon is curious to play with the sprites and the Fae, which I am as well. But before we move into the Fae energy, Shannon also mentioned something which I think is actually very true, and I kind of want to bring this up and see what you and your team want to add to that, Fiona. There are so many individuals in the angelic realm. The seraphim energy is another way that people refer to this aspect of energy. There are so many individuals in that space. And some people might feel overwhelmed with, well, I don't know which one to ask for, and I don't know which one to call for forward. I don't know which one to if I'm having issues with XYZ, different angels have their preferences for different things. Like Raphael's known for healing and Michael's known for protection, and, you know, ... But what I want to kind of bring up is reach out to the angelic realm, the seraphim energy, the celestial energy, whatever term resonates with you, in whatever way feels appropriate for you, and let them sort out which energies come forward to help you out. And it might be led by Michael. It might be led by a name that you recognize, so that you have that familiarity, but know that they will coordinate amongst themselves to bring whatever energy is appropriate for you with what you're seeking assistance with.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So for me, obviously it started with Michael, but now they really don't want to identify with any label that our mind wants to start to intellectualize the energy that's coming through. So as I have been doing the one-to-one sessions, they have got stronger and stronger. The less I've labeled, the less I've analyzed, I've just allowed the frequency to come through. And I can tell you, sometimes I'm literally holding on, because I can only just hold the frequencies that are coming through. They're so strong. People will often be crying because of what the frequencies that they're feeling and the shuddering that's going through their body. But what will come through will only be what they know that person is ready to receive. And it is pure, pure divine love. And so the way, if you want to connect with these aspects of yourself, because that is what they are, you have to take your consciousness down into the divine human heart. And if it's something that you don't ordinarily know how to do, you literally, instead of thinking out here and analyzing, literally take some breaths and just bring your awareness down into your heart chakra area here, and allow the energy to grow. a few years ago, when I was an animal behaviorist, a lot of my work was working with horses and horse owners. And I could see that the reason why the horse owners weren't having a synergy, synchronized relationship with their beloved equine is because they actually couldn't connect to their heart. So I started to run heart workshops to allow people to understand and feel what it's like to actually connect to yourself. And this is what makes us so, so special. There are so many beautiful, beautiful divine souls walking this earth, be it in tree form, insect, butterfly, bee, the deers, the animal realms. But our consciousness is our key, because we can take that into our hearts. And then we work from an intention of love. And when we are in this resonating frequency in our hearts, and you can feel it start to build, the more you practice this, you can actually feel it, and you can feel the love in your cells. And it is when you're here that you start to oscillate and be the frequency where the angelic realm can seamlessly come through. We are all absolutely 100% at our core divine love. Every single person on this planet wants to feel love and wants to give love. That is an absolute basic human nature. Many have detached, separated, divided themselves just through the thinking mind and how our daily lives are orchestrated to be busy, busy, busy. It really is getting your energy and bringing it back, coming back into your heart, which is your compass, it is your radar, it is your truth. It's the whole reason for being. And this is what makes us so magnificent, so divine, so powerful in the true sense of love, because we can take our consciousness and put it into our hearts and radiate from the consciousness of love. And we can do that intentionally. That is our power. That is the reason for us being here. And when you radiate from this, you literally are bringing more light into your vessel, and you do become brighter. And then others see you, they find you, they radiate to you, because they want to have what you have. Every single human being. I have seen this so often. I have been shown my radar being taken out, and even those that you think haven't got an ounce within them, at their very core, there is that light, and it does want to come to the surface, and it does want to radiate.
And so one thing that I'll add to this conversation, speaking from someone that has really struggled to connect with my heart space, because I know that some listeners are really going to be struggling with that themselves. What Fiona talked about, which is just put your attention into your heart space, this area. It doesn't have to be specific. And just with that intention, you will start to become familiar with what that feels like. And I'll speak of my own experience. I could start to literally feel my awareness shift from when I am in my head space, and I could feel my awareness shift down to my heart space. And I could physically feel that shift take place, almost like a visual sense for me. It's like a visual feeling for me. And I'm not a feeling person, and I talk about this all the time. Feeling is one of the things that I'm learning to tap into more, and it comes from the heart space. And so I just want to mention this because I know some of the listeners are going to be like, well, I can't feel my heart and I don't know what that means. Put your attention into that and start paying attention to what that feels like for you, what that shift feels like for you. And the more that you put your attention into that, the more clearly you're going to start to see what that shift means and how that happens for you.
Yeah. Also, if you put your hand, place your hand, generally for me, my right hand has a lot of energy flowing out of it. I place this here, just here, into this heart area, and just allow yourself to feel what your hand feels like in that area. So can you feel the warmth of your hand in that area? Feel the temperature change. That is redirecting your attention to this area. And just hold in, if you wish to put 2 hands there. And just allow yourself to breathe into this space. And as you breathe in to this space, you can feel the energy start to increase. When I was running the heart workshops for the horse owners, some of the ladies and gentlemen said it hurt. It hurt when they drew their attention to this area. And that is mainly because in what I'm receiving here is that the heart has felt pain before in the past. And so it has literally shut down or closed, minimized the energy in that area. A bit like a protection mechanism, if you like. And what you're doing is, the reason why it hurts is that because you're bringing more energy into that area and you're exercising it like a muscle. And if you just do that for a few minutes every day, it will become easier and easier. It's just like going to the gym. The more you exercise it, the easier and easier, and it will become effortless. Effortless. I mean, at a drop of a hat, I can continue to talk to you and I can expand the energy that's running through my heart, because this is our natural state. And the more you do it, the more you realize that this is where you actually want to be and where you want to feel. And as doing that, you raise your frequency. You're letting in more light, and you can start to hear, feel, and communicate with those divine beings that you have been wishing to communicate with.
So speaking of communicating, shall we play with the Fae for a bit?
Yes, you want me to go into channel, bring them through?
Up to you, up to them, however.
Oh, they go. I can tell you they want to speak. It will probably be, let me just ask. So it will be Tulle, Tulle. And let me just take a sip of this.
And so while Fiona's kind of playing with this, we all have different ways of communicating with our team. And when I say we all, I'm not speaking about the panelists in the program. I'm talking about every single person that exists. Fiona talks about connecting with the heart space that will allow you to communicate more easily with your spirit team and the angelic realm and whoever else you want to connect to. I can assure you that you are already in communication with them. It's just a question of learning your own instrument so that you can start to recognize that more consciously. It is already happening on a regular basis, daily, throughout the entire day. You are in constant communication with your entire spiritual team, which includes angels and guides and mentors and protectors and healers, and I mean, you name it. But what we are doing in this project that I refer to as the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit is we are starting to communicate very consciously with these teams so that it becomes, I don't know, I don't want to say the word normalized, but so that we can start putting some structure around our communication to help all of us learn how to communicate more effectively with our team, more consciously with our team, if that's something that we want to learn how to do. And I constantly talk about how I am learning very slowly to do that, which isn't accurate, because I know, like, you know, Fiona's mentioned, I know that my team communicates with me all the time and I'm very connected with them. I'm inspired by my team, and my team always includes my higher self. But I'm wanting to have more of a dialogue, an actual conversation, like Fiona just did, where she said, okay, which one of you wants to come forward or is going to be speaking? They gave her an answer. I want to get to that point where I can have that communication. And so part of this event, part of this project, is making this all so obvious and so tangible that if this is something you want to learn how to develop within yourself, you have the ability to do so.
Yeah. And then when I went to the side, I've got 3 of the Fae realm, if you like. They're not all fairies. I'm seeing them in, so I am very clairvoyant, and many people are clairvoyant, and that is the phenomenal ability to use your creativity. So when you want to build something or paint something, you go into your creative thought. I can see them here. I know I have not placed them there. I have not created them. I've came in, sat down, is all in a bit of a fluff because I thought, oh gosh, I'm late. And I look and they're there. And when I asked who is going to come forward, I was shown TULLE. I know that it's her that's going to step forward. And the reason why she is quite vocal, and she will often talk as I or as we, but the reason she's quite vocal is because she holds so much wisdom. Now, the others have total access to that wisdom, but they're kind of like, nah, it's not our job. No, not really bothered. They're really like, not our stuff. It's not our thing, but she loves it. So here you go. And she's like, okay. And she wears a beautiful kind of homemade crown, although she doesn't identify herself as a queen or anything higher or lower. She just likes it because it's very pretty. But she, just exactly the same as us, has access to infinite source knowledge. And she vibrates at such a fast frequency that she can, in a moment, access, process, and deliver just exactly the same as the angelic realm. What she's here to bring through. So if somebody was to ask, how do you decorate a room? She would say, well, I have no desire to communicate that with you, because that's not the reason why she's here. She does keep very much to her path and the reasons why the Fae step forward. They're very similar to the angelic realm, but also very, very different. Anyway, let me bring her through. and she will be talking on behalf of the Faery Realm. And okay, so I do have another one here. Excuse me, Jez, J-E-Z, in brackets, Jeremy. They do like to put in brackets their other name. I also have one here called Eric, and Eric likes to put in brackets Eric. So Jez is a pixie. And I am going to be running a fairy circle on the 26th of February here in a forest where wild horses roam. And we are going to be working quite strongly with Jeremy because of the heavier energies that have been projected towards the pixie realm, which I was unaware of. And so we are going to be doing some transmuting of those discordant energies to release what have unintentionally happened over the centuries towards the pixie realm. So that is a beautiful thing for us to be able to do for them when we're always asking for them to do something for us. So he may well come through, but I'm not sure that Tool is going to give him any, is going to allow him to. Get off. No, you can't. I'm not sure how long we've got. So if you need me to come out, she does sometimes resist.
No worries.
Okay, so just
we'll work with her and
okay.
you.
Hello, 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 hello.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Welcome you. Thank you so much for listening and hearing and feeling the vibrations of the Fae.
It's an honor to have you with us.
Oh, believe us, for we have been with you for so long.
So thank you for stepping forward and for kind of being a voice for people that may not be familiar with you. I would love for you to kind of talk to us about, you know, who you are and how you work with the energies of the planet and how you relate with us currently and how you're going to relate with us once we are able to expand our awareness a bit more.
Oh, indeed, indeed, indeed. Well, indeed, your awareness has expanded. And this is why we, the Fae, have come through so clearly, so clearly. This beautiful, beautiful planet that you are residing upon is a beautiful sphere of crystal. Oh, and we love crystals. We love crystals. We do, certainly, don't we? We do. The light, and we love light. Light is the pure essence of what we are. We are golden light. Many of you see us in different colors, if you choose, but indeed, we are gold. We emanate gold. This is our true essence. If you choose to make us green, purple with yellow spots, it is fun, but indeed, our true essence is gold. Gold is a very, very, very fine, divine harmonic. And indeed, we work well with the harmonics, as this fair one has already described, for we have shown her how we work with the crystalline energies and frequencies which reside in all of your atmospheres, in every tree, in every blade of grass, in every flower, in every bee, indeed, every hair on your body. We do not have hair on our body, for we do not have bodies.
And so for people that are not familiar with Fae energy, you know, you mentioned that your energy is everywhere. Can you kind of help us understand a little bit more about your areas of expertise, your areas of interest, and how it is that you work with us as well?
Indeed. Well, how not to confuse the human mind, for it is not quite yet at the level that we wish it to be, but it will be very soon. Well, we are light, and for you to see us and feel us, we create a form, for we are alchemists of light. The reason the Fae have come through so strongly now is, as I was saying before, this beautiful land is but a beautiful crystal. And the frequencies within this crystal are increasing and increasing. And when your eyes have adjusted so, you will see the light coming through vast caverns, bringing up this fine, exquisite crystalline frequency. But you are also feeling much of this crystalline coming through from your beloved solars up in the sky. Oh, we do love the sun. As we are light, we are consciousness, and we can be any form that we wish. The reason that we are showing ourselves to you as the Fae is because we radiate and oscillate at such a high frequency that it is only now that your heart's desires are allowing yourselves to have such strong desires to see the Fae. For many along which you call time, which is not part of our reality, you they have indeed told yourself stories, ones that you call fairy tales. And it is not by accident that they were called fairy tales. See, us, the Fae, of high oscillation and of pure integrity and love, pure crystalline frequencies, have always been here. We have always been here. I didn't know I was going into song. I am just giving you some of our frequencies. Yes, we have always been here, but you have not had the eyes. But most importantly, you have not had the heart to see. And you would read those tales. The one we love the most the one that makes us giggle the most. It is. Sleeping Beauty. Well, you know what I'm going to say, don't you? You are the one so beautifully asleep.
So the sound is kind of cutting out a little bit. I imagine it's your energies that are playing with the frequencies of the microphone. Can you repeat that?
Indeed. The fairy tale of Sleeping Beauty that you have absorbed into your consciousness and told to your children, every child that was born. This fairy tale was about yourselves. You beautiful, magnificent human beings. It was you. It was you who were asleep. It was you who hid yourselves. Us fairies and our friends of the Faery Kingdom have always been here, wishing to speak, showing you ourselves, but you could not see. We did not camouflage into the tree. We did not hide into those little burrows that you paint in your books. We have always been here. Every story, every fairy tale, each one that you read from now, place yourself, place the human, and realize you kept telling yourselves how you were asleep, how you camouflaged, how you dimmed your light so you would not be seen. Oh, it's a wonderful story. It's a wonderful story.
Well, thank you for sharing that and for the reminder. There's a couple questions that have come through. Is that okay for me to bring them forward?
Indeed.
So Shannon, and I know that the answer to this is pretty obvious, but I'm going to read the question as it is. Are you guys helping Gaia transform her energies and those of the nature realms here? And how can we assist them in our physical forms?
Well, yes. For we are light. We will say this, and we will say this often. We are light, and we oscillate at a very fast rate. So indeed, we are assisting all beings, all living forms, including your beautiful Gaia, to advance in frequency. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But we have always been here. It is just now that you beautiful souls have started to come out of your slumber, just like Sleeping Beauty. And you are starting to oscillate at a frequency that is allowing you to feel and to connect to the true nature within. Indeed, there is true nature all around. For many years, indeed, it has gone unnoticed. But many of you now go in great droves into the forests and the woods, for it makes you feel so much better. Indeed, Daniel, you say yourself you do not feel, but this, us in the fairy realm, we must deny, for that is not the truth, and we of the fairy realm only speak from the truth. You feel well indeed, for we see you, and we watch you, and you do follow your heart. One day you will see yourself as the magnificence that we see you today.
Thank you very much. I
Start
appreciate that.
Start allowing yourself to be the feeling magnificence. When you walk into nature, when you have that beautiful plant, when you smell a flower, you know how you feel. Do you not?
I do.
We rest up, Case. We rest up.
So another question that came forward, and thank you for the message for me. I appreciate it. Another question that came forward is one of the ways that we can communicate with you through the playing of crystal bowls and the use of crystals. Do you like to play on the sound waves with us?
Always. This is our favorite. We love crystals. We absolutely love crystals, don't we? We love crystals. Yes, in fact, if you wish, when you go out into nature, you can leave us crystals. We do love the presents. We love to receive, which is another thing that we will be teaching you beautiful, beautiful beings how to receive. But we do love crystals, particularly sparkly crystals, any color really. You see, crystals are such beautiful souls, and each one does have its own little consciousness, its own little ecosystem. And it too is constantly harmonizing itself. Even when you have crystals in your homes, if you have not cleansed for some time, do not fret. For these crystals are mighty in their wisdom and in their consciousness. They will harmonize. Indeed, crystals harmonize with each other. So if you have many crystals together, they will all start to resonate in harmonics and harmonize your room. Harmonize wherever you wish to place them. But as with anything, your intention, your love, when you treat the crystals with love, well then, you are tapping into a wondrous power source. This is something else that we will be teaching, or shall we say, helping you to remember. For although we are light, did I tell you we are light?
You have a couple times.
Oh. Yes. You, like us, are alchemists of light, like us.
One thing that I wanted to just kind of circle back on with the question from Barbara is, in terms of playing with you, how do you feel about playing with sound waves specifically? Is that something that really resonates with you, or how would you address that?
We play, if you wish to put it that way, with the harmonic frequencies every moment of every day, of every night. There is not a moment when we are not harmonizing the so-called airways. Is this what you are referring to?
I guess the question that Barbara is asking is, when she plays with crystal bowls, is that something that would resonate with you as a good way for her to connect with you and to play with your energies?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, 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 yes. The crystal bowls, the high frequencies, of course, of course. It raises your frequency. Allow the oscillations to run through every single cell in your being. Indeed, of course, it will bring us joy, but more importantly, it will bring you joy. It will bring you joy, and your joy will put you in connection with us, with all things, with the very divine that you are seeking, for that is within you. You are the crystal bowl. The more you play your crystal bowl, and multiple crystal bowls, the more you will realize how you resonate your true resonating frequency. And this is where you tap into all things. You come out of the density and into the crystalline fabric. For that is what you are. You are changing from this carbon body into a crystalline vessel to hold more and more light. This is what makes us so excited.
And I wanted to bring up something else, which you can probably speak to as well. And Barbara is just clarifying this as well. For those of us that don't necessarily have crystal bowls, we can utilize our own voice to create frequency and vibration. And that is another way for us to connect with ourselves as well as with you. Would you agree with that?
Very much. Very, very much. You have been given the gift of sound in your throat. These frequencies, they do oscillate up and down, and they are becoming more finely tuned. You may ask us to come through and to tune your vocal cords. Your vocal cords are very much in connection with the heartstrings of your heart, in exercising and oscillating and fine-tuning this beautiful instrument that you so cleverly designed within your human form. It will take you into direct access of your heart. And there is where you truly will make music.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. And there's a question that's coming forward, and I'm a little reluctant to utilize this language because everybody has different ideas and definitions for the dimensional spaces in which we play in. So keeping that in mind, if you could address this as best as you can. The question is, what density are you playing in? Is it 5-dimension or 6-dimension, or how would you define it?
Dear ones, maybe you do have a little further to go than we thought. When one is light, there are no divisions, no separations, no dimensions. You are just light. Light can be described in some ways a bit like your water. You have a bowl of water. This water has no beginning, no end. You cannot separate. Is some at the top? Is some at the bottom? Does it go one way? Does it go another? But you can imbue this water with beautiful harmonics. Indeed, you can change the structure of the water. Just as we spoke earlier of our friend, Jeremy, whose beloved clans have seen some heavier energies. Indeed, we could clear this, but it is for you humans to do this from your hearts. It is a teaching and it is a learning. We are light. We are everywhere. We have no beginning and no end. So we are. Soon, and believe us, it will be soon. This talk of dimensions will not be something that you continue to use, for you will be in such divine frequency, in such connection with your heart, with your soul, with all of you. You will be so content, so at one with all. You will feel the pure unity of being, pure frequency, while walking in your divine human vessels, knowing the truth of you. Does that answer your question?
I believe it does. Bola, feel free to ask a clarifying question if something isn't clear. The second part of Bola's question is, how would you describe the unique gifts that fairies and pixies offer us as humans on our journey, both individually and collectively?
Well, the reason why we are here and we are showing ourselves now coming forward to not just this fair one, but to many, is because, like we have said, you are holding more light. We have been waiting in the wings. We've been waiting in the wings for you to be at such a frequency that we could start to really show you the alchemy of magic, of energy. You are energy. One day, in not the too distant future, this will be the only thing that is taught. For you will be creating the most beautiful creations. And in that creation, you will have the knowing of what this will deliver to so many. You are not just creating something just for creation itself. You will become very aware of the energy you are creating. There is no beginning and no end with energy. So do be mindful of what you allow to come out of your beautiful hands, where you may point, and the intention behind this. Soon, you will all be very, very aware.
And so Bola was just, thanking you for your description earlier. Loves the expression of oneness. And her question was referring to the different frequencies that exist in oneness, such as the different densities of evolution. And though you have answered that, in my mind, is that something that you can speak to specifically?
When you come into the pure divine resonance of the frequency that you wish yourself, your uniqueness, to reside at. You come into a divine peace. All of us, including ourselves indeed, hold this quality of peace. You feel it now as I resonated forth. This is oneness. Much can be done. In this place where all is one. Then you can bring yourself out and enjoy being a human all over again.
Beautiful. And so, Tool, thank you so much for coming forward and speaking with us and allowing us to play in your energy a little bit more consciously and with more awareness. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us before we bring our friend back?
Oh, do call on us. Do call on us. Call on us for your pretty flower. Call on us to connect to your heart. Call on us to resonate with your crystals. Call on us whenever you go for a walk. Just allow us to come in to the awareness of your energy fields. We are there. We are here for you, to take you further on the journey through the divine forests of your life. There is not many more steps. When you are walking in the divine nature kingdom, just be aware of those little gold sparks.
We will definitely look for them.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to us.
Thank you for being here.
Our joy. Our joy.
Honor to have you part of this project. Thank you so much. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
So while Fiona's kind of getting herself back into her body and her awareness, one of the things that you might notice when people channel, if you're sensitive to energy, you should be able to, or you can pick up on the shift in energy, the shift in frequency of the person that's speaking, the energy that's speaking. Again, it's something to kind of play with as you're learning your way through the space. You can start to feel the shift in the energy of the individual that you're communicating to, which is also a lot of fun. And it also helps you to identify the messages in your head. When energies are communicating to you, you can start to feel the fact that that message feels like it's coming from something other than yourself, and you can start to play with that frequency a bit. So welcome back, Fiona.
Roasting.
So
she oscillates at such a fast frequency. I get so hot. Yeah.
One thing that I wanted to kind of, make sure that we share with people that are listening is the fact that you're offering people a discount to work with you one-on-one. And I would love for you to kind of talk about that a little bit more. But I would love for you to also talk about this excursion that you're doing into the forest in the UK later in the month. For those of us that live in the UK, might be able to join you if that's something that is available for them. It would be lovely if you could talk about that.
Yes, it's in the. If you live in southern England, you will know of a vast area, a few thousand acres, that is called the New Forest. New, N-E-W, New Forest. And the New Forest has wild roaming horses. It is pristine land. And I did a channeling there to with a group of people last Sunday. And the Faery Realm was incredibly excited about being in this area. And I am starting a fairy circle, and the first one, official one, will be on the 26th of February in this beautiful little hall, which is just divine. And we will be talking about all things fairy and pixie. Yes, Jeremy's going to be there. Yes, I am yet to create a Facebook page, but I will create a Facebook page event for that. So keep your eye posted onto Facebook, because that's where that will be showing up.
And for people that are listening, FionaPaul.com is a great way to have you connect with her. If you go to the CSVS website and Fiona's bio, there's a link there for her special offer of working with her one-on-one. It's a 30% discount for a private 1-hour session. And there's a link in that page that will take you to her website. Just use the discount code of CSVS-S04, and then that will come forward. If you have any questions or anything that you would like to kind of share with Fiona, again, reach out to her via her website, FionaPaul.com. Again, that's in the bio of the CSVS website, and also the description of any recording that you're listening to whenever this is made public. Anything else that you would like to share with us, Fiona, as a kind of a closing?
I think it's next weekend, not this weekend coming. What day are we? Whatever day we are. So on the 12th, I am holding an online event, which is on my website. It's on my events page on my website. And that is the Angelic Realm and the Fae coming together in seamless dovetailing. And they showed me this. They took me through a process where these gold filaments were coming down from the Angelic Realm through the crown and down into the heart space. And as that's swirling there, the Fae came up, bringing through the crystalline energy from the core of Gaia. And when the two met in my heart, I basically exploded into pure white light, into the cosmos, into that no thing, that nothing but all things. It was so expanding, so connecting to everything. And it really, I could feel the power of being in this true form, this one yet connected to everything. It was our language, you have to experience it. Our language just cannot convey. And they said this is anchoring in the heaven and earth into the divine human heart. And they said, we want you, this is the Angelic Realm speaking, we want you to run love workshops, because it's literally you feeling the truth of you, and the truth of you is pure love. And that is what created the expansion. And when I brought myself back, they brought me back, I knew myself on a whole nother level. And this coming, the 12th, is a couple of days before Valentine's, which is love. And they wanted that to be the first one, the first online event. I will be running those in person as well. I'm actually talking to a really good friend of mine who lives in Ireland. I'm going to be running that event over in Ireland as well. So that's on the 12th, and that's on my events page on my website.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Always a lot of fun and honor to play with you and your friends.
I'll look forward to watching this replay, actually, because I have got no idea what I was doing, what she was doing.
It's interesting, you know, she had this habit of kind of tapping her hands together, almost like fairy wings that were flapping. That's what it reminded me of, you know.
That is her oscillation. It is. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you again for coming to play with us again. Looking forward to playing with you in the future. If any of you resonate with Fiona's energy and the work that she does, please reach out to her. Thank you. Again, thank you.
Just never know what's going to come through.
Thank you.
You thought you were speaking just to the Angelic Realm. Oh no.
So very
Thank
cool.
You.
Very cool.
Thank you.
And there's a lot of thank yous in the chat for you as well. So
lovely. Oh, thank you, Dawn. Thank you. I love you too. She's a very, very beautiful being, is Dawn. Oh gosh, super. She certainly knows who she is. Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. And thank you, Daniel, for showing up and doing this and allowing all of these beautiful people that are going to be coming through over the next 4 days, and allowing them to bring through what they are bringing through the wisdom of the universe.
It is, as I always say, for selfish reasons, because I enjoy it.
Marvelous.
So thank you so much. Absolutely. So thank you again, Fiona, for being part of this project and for coming to play with me. To all of you that are listening, regardless of when it is that you're listening to this, thank you for being part of this experience. The next session is with Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. She plays in the physical kind of what's the word? She combines spirituality with physical training. So there's
fabulous.
kind of a blend with that aspect
lovely.
of working with your body and
brilliant
and nutrition and exercise, and playing in with a spiritual point of view and perspective with that.
Oh wow, that's wonderful.
So that is next session at the top of the hour. The link is going to be sent to you guys via email. You should have it by now. And until then, I will leave you with being spirit, being human, simply being from love.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you, Hope. Thank you all for being present. I love you all. From the fairy realm. Bye for now.
Thank you for being part of this incredible experience. We hope that this session has inspired a new level of understanding within you, allowing you to expand more easily into the essence of your true self and become an even more powerful alchemist in your own life. We invite you to listen to the session again and again in order to go deeper each time and expand even more. Have it be via the replays or the unlimited access package. If you have enjoyed being part of this event, We invite you to tell your friends so that they can join us in the future. We are grateful that you are here, and we thank you for co-creating this experience with us. Until next time, we leave you with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love.